Dans la prostitution, il n'y a pas de promotion sociale, comme je l'ai toujours dit en néerlandais. La seule promotion qu'on fait, c'est du trottoir à l'égout. Ça, c'est la promotion prostitution. Donc, je ne crois pas qu'on peut aller mettre la prostitution sur le même pied d'égalité à un travail comme n'importe lequel d'autre.
Det som är väldigt viktigt för mig, just att vi inte ser kvinnor i prostitution som någonting annat än systrar till oss. Men det som också händer är ju att när man accepterar att män har rätt att utnyttja kvinnor precis när de vill, hur de vill, och mot betalning, så påverkar det ju inte bara de kvinnorna och flickorna som är utsatta för prostitutionen direkt, utan det påverkar ju oss allihopa. Och ju mer prostitution accepteras som något alldeles normalt i ett samhälle, ju mer kommer vi ju allihopa, och det är vi ju redan, betraktas som någonting som man kan utnyttja.
Las mujeres están totalmente en una relación desigual y en relación al poder de los hombres y al poder patriarcal. Y realmente legalizar la prostitución sería, o sea, de alguna manera, dar legitimidad a esta situación.
It will legalize a new definition of slavery. And women who are from other countries, women who are trafficked, will bear the burden of the violence from those consumers who want more exotic women, more exotic sex, and more exotic forms of slavery.
Who are the ones who's got the choice in this market? Of course, it's the client. It's always the client that chooses. He's got his own choice, no one else in that matter. And we continue discussing the prostitute women and telling, well, are they forced or aren't they? Even though we have figures, we have a know-how since almost 4,000 years. So far, we haven't visualized the demanding side. Isn't this incredible? They always go free, the ones who's got the choice.
I don't want to attack women involved in prostitution. I want to attack the system of prostitution. And I think that when you spoke about the demand, nowhere do we talk about the demand, nowhere do we address the demand, and until we do that, we can take as many women out of prostitution, but there will always be a million more to step in the shoes of the vulnerable.
Ja, för det första så synes jeg det viktigste at vi setter ansvaret hvor det hører hjemme. Fordi at vi vil ikke ha noen prostitusjon i Island eller noen trafficking eller handel med kvinner hvis ikke det var på grunn av at islandske menn kjøper kvinner.
And I'm very surprised that many anti-racist organizations in Europe, many human rights organizations in Europe, many anti-globalization organizations in Europe are not looking at if trafficking and prostitution raise some racism against women, and why do anti-racist organizations do not attack this problem? And those who attack the globalization in Europe, the problems of globalization of money, why do not they attack the globalization of the sex industry in Europe?
Vi kan inte tillåta att de kvinnorna som befinner sig i prostitution inte får den solidaritet som vi har med kvinnor som är utsatta för annan mäns våld.
The National Rapporteur of Sweden says there are about 400 to 600 trafficked women victims in Sweden. In our neighboring countries like Norway, they got more than 5,000. In Denmark, approximately 7,000. In Finland, about 10 to 15,000. So I used to ask myself, are men living in Sweden more or less horny than our neighbor country citizens? Of course not. There has to be other reasons. And I'm absolutely positive by know-how today that this is because we have criminalized the buyer. Mm-hmm.
La Suède est un bon exemple. Je crois que s'il n'y avait pas eu autant de femmes en politique, il n'y aurait pas jamais eu cette loi non plus et cette compréhension du mécanisme qu'il peut y avoir en dessous sur toute cette violence et ce droit qui en fait ne doit plus exister à pouvoir disposer des femmes comme d'objets sexuels.
If we want to change and get equality in Europe, we have to also to solve the prostitution. Otherwise, we will be fighting against equal pay and we will have fight against women's jobs every day. And then we leave this, which is a basic in all equality work whatsoever.
I'm not a sex worker, I'm a survivor. I represent many others like me, have survived the abuse, degradation, violence, and harms of prostitution. I particularly want to share my story with those who are still trapped in the brutality of prostitution. Women deserve real choices, not the choice between a brothel and escort service.
In 1995, it all came to a very sudden end when I turned on the local news, the television, and watched the local news, and my beautiful little cousin's face came up, and it was obvious that she was on heroin, and it said prostitute found dead in a house. She was 17, and the last time I'd seen her was at a family wedding when she was 6. She was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little girl who unfortunately fell into the arms of a pimp at the age of 14 and was murdered brutally at the age of 17. Fortunately, that gave me the strength to exit prostitution. It shook me into a very harsh reality, and it is 10 years since I have exited. I learned to live with the consequences of my experiences. Fortunately, I don't suffer abuse anymore. I don't suffer violence anymore. But millions and millions and millions of women and children all around this world suffer on a regular basis. And we have to act, and we have to stop this absolute appalling abuse of women and children. Now, thank you.